I teach, but it seems like I say this every time I teach, but it feels as though this is an extremely stressful time, even more so than ever before for many of us. And we know what stress does to how compromising it is to all of us, whether we have a diagnosis of MS or not. It really affects the immune system, and of course everything we do is designed to really balance the autonomic nervous system and to create more harmony within, to clear the space so that and the way in which what I'm going to be offering are tools that are from Mother India, that are precious to me, that I've studied in India with yoga masters, but I've adapted them so that they are appropriate in all kinds of settings, be it. So it would probably be good to mute your mics now if you haven't already, because I'm getting some ambient sound. Um, so these practices are adapted not only for physical abilities and that sort of things, but they're adapted for health care, where people may come in not expecting or wanting yoga, but the healthcare provider or the mental health provider gives them some practices that don't feel in conflict with their religious beliefs or their basic sense of, what they want for themselves. So for example, we may be practicing something like Anuloma and Viloma Krama. However, we call it stair steps breath to make it more accessible. And we don't even use the language of breath because some of you who may be yoga teachers know that sometimes people say, oh, I like yoga, the stretching part, but I don't like the breath. And that's because, for very good reason, often people can't access a deep breath, especially if there's been trauma or anything else that impedes the diaphragm because in trauma we constrict. Our psoas muscle constricts, and that constricts our diaphragm. So we don't get that deep breath. So someone who starts a yoga class with long, deep breathing may find it very difficult and feel, quote, not good enough. And also, or they may find that they can do the breath, but what happens is there can be emotional flooding because there's so much that's been tamped down. So we start with something usually like stair step breath, which is a little more accessible. But before we get there, let's center. And I have
I want to introduce you, Miss Amy.
Oh, here we go.
Not
Sorry,
everybody knows you.
Okay, Mindy, please. Sorry, I just launched in. Okay.
That was okay. It was kind of fun to listen to you.
Okay.
I just want to do a brief intro. I don't have her bio memorized, but I've known Amy a long time. I attended a session with her. We were trying to remember how long ago it was, and have had her first book, and she's had several different publications in her I have adaptive yoga cards. You have yoga for, what does it say?
Yoga for your mood. Yeah.
Yoga for mood card. And I encourage you to,
oops, I just knocked over.
But I'm going to read it. Now, what do I do?
Okay.
All right. So welcome to all of you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mindy Eisenberg, the founder and director of Yoga Moves MS. And we provide adaptive yoga for people who have conditions such as MS and Parkinson's. And we have free live classes every day of the week. And we also have an on-demand system so that classes are available and accessible anytime for those of you who live in different areas. We have a team of about 10 very skilled adaptive yoga instructors. And I believe one is on now, Julie Levinson, who just taught our noon class and is well loved by the community. And what else can I say? We have resources too, books, videos, cards, you name it. But I want to get to Amy's, and so you can learn from Amy today. This is such an important topic. And as she said, anxiety and depression, these are such challenging times. So with that, Amy Weintraub she's a yoga therapist. She has a master's in fine arts. She's the founder of Life Force Yoga Healing Institute, an acclaimed yoga therapist and a pioneer in the field of yoga and mental health. And I can remember way back when at the first International Association of Yoga Therapy conferences listening to Amy as a speaker at them. In 1999, she wrote the Natural Prozac. I love that. Yoga Journal's first article addressing yoga and depression. She's the author of Yoga for Depression, which is right here. Yoga Skills for Therapists, the new card deck, Yoga for Your Mood, 52 Ways to Shift Depression and Anxiety, and numerous articles and book chapters. She guides thousands of practitioners and yoga and mental health professionals around the world. Her Silver Nautilus Award winning novel Temple Dancer was released in 2020. She thrives in Tucson, Arizona, where she mountain bikes, dances, writes, and creates. You can find out more about Amy and her workshops, books, and practices at amyweintraub.com. And with that, I will let in someone else. And everyone, if you can mute yourselves, you will have a chance to ask questions. You can put them in the chat. Amy's going to present for the first hour, and then there'll be time for questions and answers.
Wonderful to see you all. And for those, there were a few people on before we started, so I did say hello to those who were here a little earlier. And I hope that we'll have a chance to speak with one another as we go through this, but primarily at the end. I was thinking that I would do work with us, do some practices. And then at the end, I will be opening it up for about 15 minutes of Q&A. So we're going to center in just a moment, but I wanted to reiterate what I said. I think the recording was on, but there are more of you who've joined. I'm going to try to adapt from many levels, but I am not in your body. So please adapt your practice. Total permission, not only to adapt physically, but to really take care of yourself emotionally. Because sometimes, I don't know how about you, but how many people have cried on their yoga mat? Just raise your hand. Yeah. And it's not necessarily about a story. It's about a release, a letting go. Crying, according to Swami Kripalu, one of my teachers, is one of the highest spiritual practices. One who knows crying knows release. So if tears arise, welcome them. It's just a letting go. So listen to your body. I'll be doing most things from a chair, but you can, I'll show you what it can look like when you stand and do some of them. And they're mostly practices that are not usually taught in regular yoga classes. So they're add-ins, they're interventions, they're 2 to 3 minute little practices that can shift the mood. And there are a lot of them, I put in the card deck, which I held up earlier. I put pretty much all of the practices. They're all, sourced from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika and other ancient sources from India, but we rename them, making them more accessible, slowing them down, because we're not all in ashrams and we don't have someone else doing the cooking and, making, we have to do, we are householders and we need to modify these practices so they work for us. Whether we have a diagnosis of MS or Parkinson's or anything else, we know that stress is really damaging to the autonomic nervous system, to our well-being. So these practices are meant to bring you back into balance from whatever, whether you're rajasic, anxious, or tamasic, lethargic, a tendency towards depression. So I'm thinking that we'll center with this card. I just laminated a few, and the directions are on the back. I just wanted to show it to you. I'll lead you. And what we're going to do is first I'm going to invite you to bring into your heart's mind an image that for you represents calm strength. So it could be from nature. It could be a face, a deity, or maybe an image doesn't readily arise. It may be the word courage. And as we do this mudra and mantra practice, the image may shift, it may change, it may become something else, and that's okay. There's no wrong way to do this. And I think before we do this, we'll just clear a little space with maybe 10 rounds of a very slow bellows breath, Bastrika. Now I'm going to show you 3 different options for doing it. The first one being inhaling and raising. So my hands are spreading, inhaling and raising, exhaling and bringing the fists down, elbows in front. The second one being forward and back, depending on shoulder flexibility. The third one being simply opening and closing the hands like that. And then we're going to do that maybe 10 times. And then we'll do a mudra that's very grounding. So we'll do Adi Mudra, which thumbs come into the palms, fingers press around. It's like a baby's fist and it means first. And the elbows will be straight. And I'll invite a pause of the breath, an internal kumbhak, an internal pause, but that doesn't mean you have to do it. You can just simply breathe. And this is very grounding. And I'll talk you through it because when we do this part of the practice, we are revving a little bit the sympathetic nervous system, the more active part of the autonomic nervous system. However, when we follow it with what is on the back of the card, with a body scan, a mini body scan and Adi Mudra, we're activating parasympathetic activity. So we're bringing it into balance. If this practice, doing it slowly, not more than 1 breath per second, doesn't feel right for you, just don't do it. And the reason we're doing it is to kind of clear the space so that we can invite and whatever attributes we want to enhance in our hearts, in our minds, in our bodies, so that there's more clear space to do that, so that we have more access to that sense of true nature, who we are beneath whatever diagnostic category we fit in. Okay, so fists in position, and feel free to allow your eyes to close. I'll keep mine open so I can see you. Take a natural breath in through the nostrils, let it go, and begin. Inhale, exhale. It's through the nostrils, not through the mouth. And Feel free to adapt. Feel free to close eyes once you have it. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, lift the arms if that's comfortable for you, and then exhale 3 times through the mouth. Hands on knees, elbows straight, navel to the spine, and then inhale and lift. Take an integrative breath in, integrating. Exhale and release. And then Adi Mudra, thumbs into the palms, and then fists face down. Inhale for maybe to 2/3 capacity, if you wish. You don't have to do this. If you wish, if you know Mula Bandha, lifting the pelvic floor, maybe a little drop to the chin for Jalandhara Mudra. And then not straining, not staying too long here. Soften everything, belly, shoulders, palms, open palms, and allow eyes to be softer, closed, and sense the energy you have awakened in your left palm. Maybe there's a tingling there. Your right palm. Maybe there's kind of a ginger ale feeling. Maybe sense the energy shining from the fingertips of the left hand all the way up the left arm, left side of the face, crown of the head. Exhale and sense the energy coming down the right side of the face, right arm, palm, fingertips. This is your birthright, this energy. We don't create energy with our practices. We remove the obstructions so we feel our own healing energy, our own natural healing energy shining through. Inhale from feet to crown. I am. Exhale to your seat here, grounded, ready. Inhale from seat to crown. I am. Exhale to your seat here. And then bring your right hand to your heart, your left hand on top, linking the thumbs in Garuda Mudra. Bringing wings to the heart. And maybe bring that image that you have for calm strength, or the word courage, or calm strength, or the essence of calm strength into your heart. And we'll be inhaling the arms out for the count of 4 and using Ma, Ha, Ra to draw them to the belly first, 3 rounds. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. See that image or word, draw it to your belly with Mahara. Mahara. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. See that image for calm strength. Draw it in with Mahara. One more time to the belly. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Embrace that image. Draw it to the belly with Mahara. Mahara. And we'll do it 3 times to the heart using Mahaya. Inhale your arms out. Embrace that image or word. Mahaya. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. See that image or word, calm strength. Mahaya. And one more time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. See that image, calm strength. Mahaya. And give your heart a little rock, the image or the word on the altar of your heart, there whenever you need it. And let's vibrate the heart, bringing compassion, nourishing seeds of compassion at the heart with the sound of yam, emphasis on the Y. So it's long Y and we go to the M. So inhale for sound. Yam. Perhaps there's a prayer or an intention that you want to bring into your heart. Let's give it sustenance. Let's nourish the seed of your heart's prayer with the sound of yum. Yum. And one more time. This time we'll let the arms come out to the sides as though we're creating a sacred container, safe boundaries, yet it's permeable. So love and energy can flow in both directions. And it's inviting all of us into this sacred circle of compassion. Inhale for sound. Let the arms come out to the side. Yum. If you wish, bring the arms up, interlace fingers, index fingers extended in Kali Mudra. Arms, elbows can be straight or bent or adapt however you need to. We're going to do the crown chakra sound, tongue to the roof of the mouth as we lower the arms to the sides with NG. And then allow your breath to find you. Waves of breath lapping against the shores of your body, riding those waves home to who you are inside, beneath labels, beneath masks, home to the ground of your being, where you are eternally, intimately connected, that knows no boundaries, limitless, timeless, whole. And from this place, invite a prayer, perhaps the same one you used with Yam, to reveal itself. What's the burning bush in your heart? Why are you here? And if nothing immediately arises, leave the space open so that your heart's will aligns with the heart and the will of the universe, the benevolent universe, the divine, as you know the divine. And with love and acceptance for where you are, no judgment, let's create fertile ground for the full flowering of your prayer, your intention, sacred ground for our time together with the healing tone of Om. Shanti, peace, shalom, salam, peace, peace, peace. And as you're ready, you can allow your eyes to flutter open. You know, once I get started, I thought we would just do this, and then it's just like, flow into this and flow into that. So I strung together a number of practices that are all in the card deck, actually, the Yam, the Mahara, the Mahaya. And so I'd love to hear just from a couple of you, because we don't have a whole lot of time together. Just, well, maybe if you had an image for peace or for calm strength, we'll be doing peace later, but if you had an image for calm strength, if you'd like to share it, I'd love to hear it. And I'd also just love to hear if you're more present. Let's just do a thumbs up, or are you here? Have you landed with that practice? Yeah, great. Great. Wanda June, I see you're not. I see everybody's not. So hi, Karen. So tell me, a couple of you, just raise your hand and unmute yourself and tell me if you had an image that came to you for calm strength. Catherine, I see you moving forward. Okay, Catherine, what was your image?
When I had my eyes closed, at first I had a whole bunch of blocks, and then they all came together into one block, like one union.
Beautiful.
Like peace, like
beautiful.
We're all scattered around the world and we're fighting.
Yeah.
Come together.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you, Catherine. Wanda June, did you want to say something? I thought I saw you lean towards your computer. Yeah.
Yes, my image, when I was a teenager, I studied with the Korean Zen master, Sungsan Sonsa. And one day, my boyfriend and I sort of stumbled into the meditation hall when he was entertaining a guest from Korea. And those two men, it's like whatever reaction or it just went through them like air or water. It's just astounding to me. So that's like my image of complete groundedness.
Beautiful. So beautiful. And, both of your images, Catherine and Wanda June, I couldn't give you those images. So I think it's really empowering and important to give cues like nature, a face, something that brings you calm strength, but not to say like an oak tree or a wave in the ocean or something like that, because that's my image. It's not your image. So I'm really grateful that you shared those too. Does anyone else, maybe we have time for one more sharing, or anyone else want to say anything about or ask anything about those particular practices? We'll have more time for Q&A later. So if someone who hasn't.
I know I've already spoken, but could you tell me why you emphasized and lengthened the first syllable?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So that gets into Nada Yoga. And so we use Nada Yoga in several ways. We use the, so I'll start with the Mahara because that's what we did first. So Maha, as many of you know, means, I won't ask you because then we'd be turning on mics, but it means grand, royal, Maharishi, Maharaja, Maha, grand. And the Ra sound, the Ra, is a sound for the solar plexus, which is self-esteem, identity. I will get to your question, Catherine, but I'll go through each of them. And Maha Ra. So it's Maha, and the sound is the closing letter for many Sanskrit mantras, the sound. So the Maha, Amma, Ima, Ma, is it's a soothing, grounding sound. And the Ra is a little bit more of strength. So when you put them together, Maha, Ra, in fact, I have it down there, but I'll wait. When you put them together, it evokes calm strength. So not like forceful strength, but calm strength. And then we move to Mahaya. And as many of you know, the Y sound is the seed sound for Anahat chakra, the heart chakra. And that is, so Mahaya. So it's like bringing that strength to the heart. And then in terms of sound, the next sound we used was the yum, which makes yum, which is the traditional sound of the heart chakra mantra, more meditative. And if you notice, did you notice that there was more vibration in the heart? So that's where the energy is. And then the closes it. So it's not in the ya, that's different. The yi. So when we do we won't get to do in this 1 hour, the life course chakra clearing meditation, but it's available on my website and probably on my YouTube channel. I think I've led it many times. But we extend the sound. So it'd be lum when we're doing it meditatively, not when we're standing and doing like breath of joy with lum, which we may do a little bit of. So lum, vum, rum, yum, hum, crown chakra. Okay, so good question. So that gives you since we're talking a little bit about Nada Yoga, and that's sort of what Life Force Yoga includes mantras in asana. So for example, in a warrior pose, we might do rum, rum, rum. And there's a little belly pump with that, a little kriya, very mild, but a little bit that's strengthening. And we know that the solar plexus is the seat of self-esteem, power, and identity, that golden Manipura chakra. So here, I think I sent a handout. If I didn't, I will. But here are the basic sounds we use. Are they in reverse? Can you see them, or are they clear? They're clear. Okay. So we just did Mahaya and Mahara. And so hum. There's also Shamaya, which we'll do. And we may do di, ri, ha for strength. And what's the bottom one? Oh, ma, ha, ha. That's from a prayer before the Gayatri mantra. There are so many mantras that can enliven your practice, both in terms of calming and in terms of energizing. So anything we do, I don't know if you remember, because we strung a whole bunch of things together. When we did bellows breath, we didn't just move right from bellows breath to the next thing. What we did was we did a mini body scan, like a mini yoga nidra, which grounds us back in the body and activates ventral vagal, it activates that social, rest and digest kind of parasympathetic activity. And then we grounded it with inhale from seat to crown, I am, exhale to your seat here. And if we had been standing, which we may do, some of us, if you're interested, we would do inhale from feet to crown, I am, exhale to your feet here. So here are some of the practices I thought we'd do before we actually do them. So we'll probably end with this one, Shamaya, which is done similarly with an image. But if you'd like, we can do the power hara, power breath it's called. We can also do a slow version of Five-Pointed Star to Victory Goddess. All of these practices include directing awareness. So coming back to this body sensing where you're sensing it, and then grounding it with inhale from feet to crown, exhale to your feet here, grounded. And then many of you probably know breath of joy, but we don't do it the way it's been taught at Kripalu for so many years. The way I learned it in the actually late 80s. It was brought to Kripalu by a German teacher trainer, and she at that time, everybody was 18 to 24 years old, perfect body, yoga journal bodies. They were coming off of drugs and alcohol, and they were seeking enlightenment. So all the practices were a little bit fiery, not so good for us as we age, whether we have an immune system, whether our immune systems are compromised or not. So we modify. So I'm going to show it to you. We'll start with breath of joy, I'm going to show it to you. We can do it in a chair. Inhale forward, and we can modify. Inhale out, inhale up, exhale forward into, and Mindy's demonstrating into like a seated chair pose. So we're not throwing our bodies forward, not so good for the lower back. We're doing it more slowly than it might be led at Kripalu. And what else can I say? We're using the sound. Well, first we'll just do it because some of you may not be familiar, although probably most of you are, but some of you may not be familiar with breath of joy. So let me back up and say it's a 3-part inhalation and exhale. So Mary, I just saw you do it. Don't bring your head forward. Stay in alignment with the head and the spine. And I'll just demonstrate it standing, but I'm going to do it sitting so everybody can participate. So let me just tilt up a little bit on my camera here. So it looks, and knees are soft, always soft, which is more grounding. So we'll be inhaling forward. That's one part. Inhaling out to the side, a second part. Inhaling up, or whatever you can accomplish. Exhaling, and we'll do ha for ha. So you can't really see my body, but I'm in chair pose. Let me take this lovely kimono off. Okay. So ha. So chair, like a chair, but with the arms back. Inhale, 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 ha. And then we'll add lum to ground. Okay. So I'm going to do it in a chair. So an armless chair, unless some of you happen to be in a wheelchair, and then you can adapt it. I don't see any wheelchairs, but there might be people who are. So, okay. So armless chair or standing, inhale forward, inhale to the side, inhale up, exhale, ha, keeping the body straight. Nice long line, bent knees. Inhale, 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 ha. Inhale, 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 ha. Let's add lum. Okay, so let me start again, because I started talking. So inhale, 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 lum, 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 lum. Three more. Lum, lum. Last one. Lum. Beautiful. And then sit up or stand up. Allow the eyes to soften or close and sense the energy shimmering left arm, right arm, all the way down to the pool of energy in the left hand, all the way down to the pool of energy in the right hand. Sensing perhaps tingling in the fingertips, the face. Inhale from feet to crown, I am. Exhale to your feet, here, grounded. Inhale from feet to crown, I am. Exhale to your feet, grounded, ready. And then allow your eyes to flutter open and find your feet if you're standing. And so I think these practices are everywhere. They're on my YouTube channel. They're on my website, amyweintraub.com. I think my YouTube channel is Amy Weintraub Author. That's where a lot of practices are. And they're in the card deck with instructions. So this has, flows with directing awareness. When you finish, sense into your face, your left arm, the tingling in your left palm, your right arm, the tingling in your right palm. So there's that, and then grounding. Inhale from feet to crown, I am. Exhale to the feet, here. So there's really, so I'm going to encourage you to maybe think about not taking notes, because you can just find these practices easily. So I just check in quickly, maybe someone who hasn't talked yet. How do you feel? How did that land? Anyone want to share who hasn't spoken? Mary, and then Danielle. Yeah.
I love Breath of Joy. I didn't realize I learned it a while ago, and I didn't realize that I shouldn't be putting my head down, because I think I learned the one where you go down.
That was the original. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm glad to have this new version. And actually, I have your cards, and now that I look at it,
Mm-hmm.
you do show it. So I'm glad that I learned the new way. And I love that. I love Breath of Joy. It's one of my favorite.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Mary. And Danielle?
Really relaxed. I really like that Breath of Joy too. The four different arm movements. It just was really good. Like a really good stretch for being in a chair. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, Danielle. Yeah. So let me look at the time. Oh my gosh. We only have 15 minutes left of practice, and then it's Q&A. And if you want more practice, we could probably do that. It's just, time goes so fast, right? I really wanted to do this one because it's so calming. It's a pratyahara practice, the withdrawal of the senses. So if you have trouble meditating, this is the portal in, and it can be it can be your meditation, doing 3 rounds of this. And with the instructions in the back, with the Shanmukhi mudra, which withdraws the senses even more. I don't know if we're going to have time for that, but I do lead it on the green CD, which is the Life Force Yoga Chakra Clearing Meditation, which is, there's one for calming and there's one for grounding and energizing. And both, and they're on my website, you can download them. Both of those meditations include this first as a portal in. It's a wonderful way to calm down. Wonderful for ADD, ADHD, so many anxiety disorders. Really good. Sorry, something just flipped. There we go. Like my cards must have turned my computer screen off for a second. Okay, so let's see. I think I'd like to do this one with the mantra Di, Ri, Ha. And again, it can be in a chair with your legs separated, feet grounded, and it's mostly upper body if you're doing it in a chair. Now, place your hand on your belly for a second and see what happens when you say the mantra Di, Ri, Ha. Right? So it's a little bit of a kriya. So we don't want to do things like too fiery breath of fire and Kapalabhati, maybe over the top, or Nali, or some of the belly churning, maybe over the top, especially, yeah, but we can do mild belly pumping with stair step breath, which I don't think we're going to get to, and with a mantra like Di, Ri, Ha, which represents strength. Now you might not roll your R's like Shashi can, but some of you might. It might be just Di, Ri, Ha. It could be Di, Ri, Ha. So I'll show it to you. Well, you know what it looks like standing, really, but let me just do it. So it'd be like seeing an image, this time for strength, power, maybe a time you've felt strong and just really competent, and, or an image again from nature, or a deity, or a sense, or just the word strength. So this, as opposed to calm strength, this is like power strength. When do you need strength? There are times when you need to be self-affirming and go into a meeting. So what we're going to do is, I'll show it to you standing, and then I'm going to practice it sitting. So inhale, B. Inhale, 5-pointed star. See that image for strength. B. Okay, I'm going to keep going, but I'm going to sit down and do it. And it's very powerful because we're pumping the belly, but it's not a strong kriya. It's contained. So
sit back a little bit so they can fully.
Sure. So my feet, you can also watch Mindy because she's doing it in a chair with her full body. You can see, so my feet are out. Let's see, I'll go way back. My feet are out. Let's see if I have room here. Okay. So Mindy's doing it with full body. Okay. So drawing the shoulders down your back. Think of that image that's strong, or the word strength. Inhale. Di, Ri, Ha. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Di, Ri, Ha. Now turn your hands out. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Shine that power out. Di, Ri, Ha. Inhale, 5-pointed star. See that image. Ah. And one more time like that. Ah. And then if you have access to holding the position, bring your hands into Padma or Lotus Mudra at the heart and bring that strength to the heart with that mantra Yam. Long Y. Yam. And then if you're in the Victory Goddess, straighten up your knees if you're standing. Interlace your fingers, thumbs extended. This is Vajna Pradama Mudra. Polishing the diamond of the heart. So you're not touching the heart. Allow the eyes to soften or close and breathe strength into your heart. There's a beautiful affirmation, a couple of them that feels right for me. If it resonates for you, you can say it out loud once and then to yourself a couple times. Unshakable confidence and trust flows through me now. Unshakable confidence and trust flows through me now. Unshakable confidence and trust flows through me now. I have everything I need to manage my life. Everything I need to manage my life. Right hand to the heart, left hand to the heart. Maybe see that image for strength. And then allow your eyes to flutter open. So I also use that Vajna Pradama is in here. Here it is. Polishing the diamond of the heart mudra. And its directions here and ways to use it with unshakable trust and confidence. Breathes through me now or flows through me now. And I'd like to close the practice part of our time together with this one, which is Shamaya. So the word we use sort of for all children to quiet them. Sha, the beginning of Shanti, peace, shalom. And the sound, ma, and ya, yeah. And I was teaching this at Kripalu, years and years ago. And, someone in the training came up to me and said, in my language, and it was an Eastern European language. I don't remember which one. I wish I had written it down. She said, it means I love you. And I sometimes go to a global chant here in Tucson, that Mary probably knows about. And, in the chant sheet, there's Shamaya, and it's from a Native American, tradition, language. And it also means something of equal peace and love. So I'm going to invite you to bring into your heart's mind an image for peace. It can be, from nature, a time you felt peaceful, or a symbol, and it can change. It doesn't have to stay the same. And what else can I say? If an image doesn't come, just, the essence of peace or the word peace. So it'll be the same. We'll be inhaling the arms out and then doing Shamaya to the heart. Okay. And we'll close our practice with this. So just want you to be able to see the mudra. There we go. Okay. So, so that image for peace on the altar of your heart. Inhale your arms out in front of your heart. Embrace that image and draw it to your heart with Shamaya. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. See that image or word. Draw it to your heart with Shamaya. And one more time. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Embrace that image. Shamaya. And give your heart a little rock. The image or the word on the altar of your heart. There whenever you need it. Maybe send it out to this chaotic world that needs your peace so desperately. Maybe there's even a face or a whole tribe of faces that you'd like to surround with the grace, the love, the peace of your practice. See those beloved faces and surround them with love and acceptance for where you are, no judgment. Let's conclude our practice with the healing tone of Om. Hari Om. Shanti. Peace. Shalom. Salam. Peace. In this moment, peace surrounds you. Peace flows through you. You are an instrument of peace. And when you're ready, you can allow your eyes to flutter open, and we have 15 minutes. So, I welcome any thoughts or questions. And, if not, we can do Brahmari bee breath. But I want to leave it open for you to participate. We put you all in gallery view, so I see you. Shashi, your mic is unmuted. Do you have a question?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I just, we are working on anxiety and depression, right? So when a person is depressed or has a lot of anxiety, the thoughts process are very negative. Like, you're not thinking straight or nothing looks right. And if these practices, like, we are trying to say ourselves that it's good, I'm good, or, imagine some, I'm just curious, does that connect with them?
Well, yeah, I think, the way I teach, Shashi, is to meet the mood. So, so there's two parts to my answer, and it's sort of, I hope it addresses your question. So because I had an anxiety-based depression, and so if I'm feeling revved up, I want to meet that first. So I will do something like Breath of Joy that we just did, or Power Hara that we didn't do this one. Um, and then the important thing about that, I'll do it slowly so it won't rev me up too much, is that afterwards I do a body scan, sensing, and then I do the grounding breath. And that sort of brings me back into balance. Now, to answer your question about rumination, which is a big part of anxiety, depression, trauma, we have a lot of negative self-talk, which is why I don't recommend initially practicing mindfulness, because, watching the breath, because the thoughts come up and then we spiral into a darker place. So that's my first really effort in the early stages, because I couldn't meditate because the same thing would happen. I would ruminate, and talk myself into a darker state. So, years ago, I started doing practices to give the mind a bone, to focus the mind so that the negative spiral of talk doesn't interfere. And then I'm already in a pratyahara withdrawn state, and the mind is much quieter. So things like the Life Force Yoga Life Force Yoga chakra clearing meditation, which is available on YouTube. It's also available on my website, amyweintraub.com. It's on it's taught, it's led, there are a couple of different versions on the green CD, which is downloadable. So that gives the mind a bone. It gives it something to gnaw on so it's not spinning. And then when we complete that practice, we're already in the state of clear thinking. And when the mind gets busy, which it does, then we invite in mantra or attention to the breath, but we're already in that very quiet, the still, as T.S. Eliot calls it in the Four Quartets, the still point of the turning world. So that Brahmari bee breath is a wonderful practice for going deep inside. Pratyahara, withdrawing the senses, so that it's so much easier then to build the muscle of mindfulness little by little by little. So thank you for that excellent question, Shashi. Did I answer?
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. Anyone else have a thought or a question?
There's
about
a question. Do you have a practice that can be done in bed, from Wanda June?
Yes, Wanda June. So when we're meeting anxious mood, I have a whole practice that starts in a supine position that can be done in bed. My mind's going in two directions, because usually if we are just waking up, we have bio needs. We have to get out of bed to address those bio needs. So if someone's capable of doing that, of walking to the bathroom, I would recommend a couple of rounds of slow breath of joy before they get back into bed, to bring a little more energy in. But okay, let's go back to your original question, which is practice in bed. So any of the supine, like Pavana Muktasana, leg stretches, the twisting, all of those supine practices. And you can use sound there too. So for example, if I'm in happy baby or supine, I'm on my back, let's assume, I'm going to use the cooling, calming tones of oh, ooh, or oh, ooh, ah. And then, so from a supine position, I may then if there's capacity for this, if it's accessible, I may do a few rounds of bridge pose as Mindy is demonstrating, inhaling the arms up, exhaling and lowering the hips and the arms. And I might use to start energizing the solar plexus after doing the supine practice. I might use I bring my hands down. Inhale up. That's the way I would do it. And then there's a delicious practice that comes from the Gayatri mantras, which are the introduction prayer for the Gayatri mantra, which is, to the light, to the sun. So they really align with the chakras, and you can do them meditatively in a seated position before Gayatri, or you can do them in bridge pose or lying down. So if, Mindy, if you want to take a supported bridge to demonstrate, just put and anyone else can do this too. If you want. So we're going to go from the root to the crown, and you can sit and watch and do this because you're going to feel it. We're going to do it energetically with the sounds from the Gayatri mantra. Wait, we'll see what her little doggy does with this. So I'm going to say it, and then you're all going to repeat it. Okay. Root chakra. Om Bo. Second chakra. Om Boo Vaha. Manipura chakra. Om Su Vaha. Om Maha Ha. Om Jannaha. Om Tapaha. Om Satyam. Om Satyam. And let's just try that again for fun. And Om Bo Hu. Om Boo Vaha. Om Su Vaha. Om Maha Ha. Om Jannaha. Om Tapaha. Om Satyam. And Mindy will come down with the next Om Satyam. And then Mindy will just spread out and she'll show us and allow her eyes to close and sense the amazing vibratory effect of those sounds and how much bigger her energy feels in this moment than the limits of her physical body. Shimmering of energy, her own healing energy awakened. And then Mindy, if you could allow your eyes to open and turn on when you're ready, maybe unmute yourself and just tell us the effect of that for you. And then maybe anyone else. So some of us, most of us were just seated, I think. I can't see everybody, so I don't know what you were doing. I see a few of you. So how did that land for you, Mindy?
I loved the vibration in the open bridge pose, and then felt very expansive when letting go and laying into
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. So I sometimes I use that maha, which is, sort of making the heart laugh with it. So, I'm going to do it this way so you can see me, but you could do it this way. Well, you could.
Amy, you froze for a second. You
Oh,
froze for a second, so I'm not sure what you said like about 30 seconds ago.
oh, okay. So you can use that heart mantra, mahaha, to vibrate the heart in, say, an adapted warrior or lunge pose. Inhale, ma ha ha. Let your heart laugh with it. Ma ha ha. So it's fun. It's fun to use those sounds. And yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. So ma ha ha. So it does pump the belly a little bit if you're doing it with vigor. So anyone else have a question or a thought? We have about 2 or 3 minutes left. Comment. Make sure you're on gallery first so I can see everybody.
Was there anyone who had a question about mantra, mudra? Some people may not be as familiar with some of the language, the Sanskrit language.
Yeah, so for those I could see that you have a yoga practice, but there are a lot of people with their cameras off that I couldn't see. So if any of you have questions, the mudras are hand gestures. Well, the hasta mudras. There are other mudras that are tongue mudras and belly mudras, but the primary mudras that we talk about are the hand gestures, and they actually give signals to the brain and also to the lungs. There's a whole practice that we could do that we don't have time for that demonstrates how just moving different fingers actually activates different lobes of the lungs. And if you ever have trouble catching your breath, Hakini Mudra, which is, you can put it in your lap, just pressing your fingers together is a really good way to deepen the breath. Very simple. And if there are no other questions, we can end with a couple of breaths of Hakini Mudra, which helps move the breath into the bottom of the lungs, which otherwise might not be as accessible. And then when you're ready, you can release your hands and allow your eyes to flutter open. It's been a great pleasure to spend an hour and 15 minutes with you. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity to share. So blessings to you and have a beautiful rest of the day. And, stay in balance. Do a little simple practice when the news overwhelms. Just stand up and do one of these practices or this one. Just take a moment to nourish and balance. Namaste.
Namaste, Amy. Thank you so much for joining us today. The recording will be available to all registrants. We'll make it available to anyone who asks for it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mindy. It's been a pleasure.
Namaste. Maybe you could send me that handout and I will include it in an email to people.
Okay. And if people want to be on my list, they can just go to Amy at amyweintraub.com. They could even shoot an email and say I was in your program and, whatever. And I'm happy to correspond or, send other handouts and things like that. But I will send a handout and we'll talk via email or text. Okay, Mindy. Bye bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.